Casey, why is the ITF World Participation Conference later this month and the bringing together of the global tennis community to discuss participation so important?
Well, I think it's so important for us as a tennis community across the globe to really make sure that we unite and get together and talk and discuss either barriers, challenges or successes and even failures along the way, what has and hasn't worked, because it's important to share those ideas across all disciplines in tennis, and I think that's why I'm really excited to be a part of it, because in Australia, since I retired, I've been really working hard in the women and girls space specifically to give women and girls as many opportunities on and off the court, and I'm really excited to be able to share that with the global tennis community.
How much are you looking forward to contributing to the ongoing conversation around participation, with the overriding ambition being the ITF's ambitious target of 120 million, approximately another 30 million, playing tennis worldwide by 2030?
Yeah, I'm really excited to share my thoughts and ideas and the work that I've done in Australia with Tennis Australia, and beginning a few years back when we developed our women and girls strategy back in Australia, and we've really been able to get some traction and make some gains. So as I said, I think it's so important for all of the tennis communities across the world to unite. So if I can share a few thoughts and ideas around the work that we've done in Australia, that's really worked well and been quite successful, and some things that perhaps haven't worked so well, I think I'm going to be really proud to be able to share that with the rest of the world.
What first attracted you to tennis, and what ultimately made you fall in love with the sport, which plays such a major role in your life?
Yeah, so tennis is my life, and even from a very young age, tennis was all I knew. So I actually grew up in a local tennis club in Perth, Western Australia. My mum and my nan were both volunteers at the local tennis club, so I came from a real background of having parents and grandparents that volunteered within the sport. So that is my biggest passion. I played at a very high level, at the high performance level, but for me this whole piece around participation and getting young girls to love the game, have ambitions to either be a professional player but also see the opportunities that tennis can provide off the court, as well as just a participation level. Being active and healthy and being engaged in a community is so important for our young girls. So that's why from my nan and my mum, I'm extremely passionate about women and girls in tennis.
And how do you view the tennis landscape currently with respect to participation? Do you feel tennis is an inclusive sport for everybody, regardless of age, ability, gender and physical ability?
I think tennis is doing a lot of fantastic work in the inclusivity space. I think having worked in a lot of the I&D work back in Australia, I know that there's stuff being done, but we can always do more. And I think seeing a lot of the other sports doing different types of things with their engagement with different minority groups, and really trying to make sure that they feel like our sport is open and welcome for all, and that they feel comfortable coming to our sport is really important. So I think we're doing really well. I think we can always just keep looking to do more and more, because tennis is one of those sports we're so fortunate. You can play it from a young age all the way up until you're much older. You can play it at all different types of levels. We have systems in place to be able to do that. So that is also my biggest passion, as well, as to make sure we engage those different communities and make sure that they feel welcome in our sport.
And in terms of participation, what do you think the sport gets right, and what do you think the sport needs to improve upon?
Tennis is really fortunate, and particularly during COVID, I think we've been really fortunate that it's been a sport that you can kind of social distance. So we've actually seen participation numbers in Australia really improve, which is fantastic. So we want to leverage that and make sure that we continue to do great work in that space. But I think the thing with tennis that we've got such an advantage is that you can play it as an individual, you can play it in terms of doubles, you can find clubs that cater to your needs, whether it be social or competitive play. You can go and have some coaching. So I think as a whole, we've got so much to offer. And as I said, tennis has been my whole life. So I know what it's given me. And I really hope that we can have things in place that young girls across the world, and also our women in tennis can, and all boys and men as well, have the same opportunities.
How do you view the tennis landscape in terms of opportunities for women and girls, both on and off court? And how important is it that further opportunities exist for women and girls to further their careers both on and off court?
Well, I still believe that women are underrepresented. I'm talking at club level, whether it be in terms of being presidents or, women have a tendency to do the jobs like the secretary roles and stuff, but I would really, really love to see more women be presidents of our local clubs. And that's a big piece to the Tennis Australia Women and Girls strategy, is making sure, particularly this community leadership piece off the court, that the women have the opportunity. So we've got some great programs in place, which I'm excited to share. But yeah, I think we're doing some great work, and I think it's really important that we continue, because there's so many great young girls out there that love the game. They may not go on to be professional players, but it's really important that we have offerings for them to make sure that they stay in our sport and they get to enjoy a great life in tennis, whether it be in participation or performance or whatever it may be.